We all have them. We all know them well. We all have a love-hate relationship with our PFOs.
Oh man. If you don't know what PFO stands for, it's a please fuck off letter or a rejection letter, and we are looking for yours.
Send in your PFOs to info@modern-singer.com. We are going to do a reading of them in November, and we would absolutely love to include yours. They're hilariously sad, hilariously funny. No names will be mentioned, no companies will be mentioned, so your information and your secrets are safe with us. I will also see if I can put an anon box together to see if we can submit them anonymously. So stay tuned for that, but please send them in. That email is info@modern-singer.com, and yours PFO will be included in our episode.
We're so excited. We're going to pair it with wine and other beverages, so please get excited for, oh my God, there's going to be so many shenanigans. I'm going to make a drinking game out of it. We're going to have a grand old time. So get your beverages ready, forward us your PFOs, and we'll see you soon.
I love when she yells at you that it's recording.
Recording in progress.
Recording in progress. It's so creepy.
It is creepy.
It just makes me giggle.
Yeah, it makes me giggle too. I hate it.
I guess it's good if like you're on a call with someone random and they're like recording you.
I had someone start recording one of my auditions without telling me. And I had to be like, hey, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello?
Okay.
That is a high pressure situation. You don't want to end up like with your audition.
Oh no, it was one of the ones that was actually just like, I don't trust you to not use this for yourself later.
Oh yeah. Sketchy.
That is sketchy. I guess I take it back. I take it back. I like the the warning. How creepy it may be.
Well, should we?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Hi everyone. My name. We can't talk over each other.
Don't talk over each other.
On Zoom.
That's the golden podcast rule.
Well, because we usually record it on separate audio tracks, so I can just mute us.
We're so bad at talking over each other that we have to record on separate audio tracks.
That's so funny. I mean, it's like a skill. Like I did a podcast for like 10 years with my best friend, and we were like, I mean, the first, I think like 10 episodes were like talking over each other.
Oh, yeah.
And then eventually we got used to it. Yeah.
We couldn't figure it out, so we just did a workaround so Alyssa can move it.
You were like, I want to keep talking. We'll just do it separate.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ellen.
My name's Alyssa.
And I'm Kay.
And welcome to the Modern Singer Podcast.
Woo! Oh my gosh. We are so excited to have Kay Patterson from the Organized Soprano here on our channel today. Kay, can you tell the world a little bit about yourself?
Thank you so much for having me. I am a professional organizer / professional singer, and I have a YouTube channel, and I make organizing videos. I don't make singing videos because that's weird for me, but it's it's my correlating career.
I love that.
As my teacher would say.
Have you ever sung over your organizing videos? Little combo special?
I have not. But maybe that's something I could look into.
I hate it. I don't sing it professionally anymore. I'm an admin, and I hated recording myself singing. Like, can do the podcast, can do all their stuff, but hearing myself sing on a recording, like, I hated it. So I would totally split it out too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I just got a recording back. I made a demo recording, and I hated listening to it. It was like, I just want to do the whole thing over again.
Mm-hmm. I know, we're so critical of ourselves. It's like, it's hard to listen to ourselves.
I've kind of gotten used to it, ironically enough, over the pandemic. It was one of my goals, is to get used to watching and listening to myself perform. I was talking to a therapist near the top of the pandemic, and we were actually talking about how because we have such an impermanent art form that we are now being forced to turn into a permanent art form. Like, we're used to doing it and then it's gone forever. Goodbye. And now we have to record it, and it's very permanent and on the internet forever. And so we were talking about that a lot and the fear that surrounds it. And it like drove me to kind of get used to it a little bit more, which was really
interesting.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to look at it. I never thought of it that way.
Me neither.
And
what you do is so right. And Kay, what you do is so permanent too. It lives out on the internet forever. Your organizing video.
Legacy. It's my legacy, I guess.
I love that. So tell us, how did you get into organization and starting this YouTube channel?
I've always been interested in anything involving homes and rooms and houses and making places comfortable. Like when I was a kid, I would always, like, one of my most favorite things to do was to just move my room around or rearrange my room. But I was never really that orderly, organized, because my parents never really decluttered anything. Like, I just kept acquiring things and I never parted with them. So eventually I got to a point where I was moving stuff around and it was satisfying, but then I had all this stuff. So I never really got good habits about decluttering and organizing. And then when I was an adult, I moved out into my own space and kind of had the same habits. I'd move things around, but I would never get rid of anything. Eventually I started to try and get rid of things, but I kept a lot of stuff around, and I would set up these systems, right? And they would fall apart after like 3 weeks or something. And then at one point I kind of got myself together, and then I started working at the Container Store. At this time, I had actually never heard of the Container Store. I thought it was something else.
Jealous right now. I'm so jealous right now.
I'll tell you right now, it was a lot of fun, but I didn't know what I was in for. I had no idea. I was there because I needed a job. I had gone this weird route where I had gotten the master's degree in singing, and I just didn't do anything after that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna, I had this whole imposter syndrome, so I didn't audition for anything. And I decided, this is so random, I decided that I was going to go to veterinary school because I had like horse stuff going on for a long time. I had a horse at the time. So I was like, I'm going to go to veterinary school. So I made this sidetrack where I went to pre-med program, and I got injured and I had to quit it like one semester before it was over. And at the time, this was like very traumatic for me. At the time, I decided, because I was working at veterinary hospitals and stuff, and I was getting the feeling that it wasn't really for me, because working in veterinary hospitals, if you've never worked at a veterinary hospital, is fun, but super depressing.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, and it was a very stressful environment, and I was getting the feeling that it wasn't my people. So I was injured. I was depressed. I had broken my ankle really badly. So while I was healing, I had a lot of time to think, and I was like, well, I haven't really given singing a chance at all. So I'm gonna go back to the path I was in the beginning. So while I was thinking about that, I was like, I'll go audition places, and I have to earn a living. While I'm doing it, I need a job. So Container Store was hiring. I was like, hey, I'll just come in and work the merchandising shift, which was from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
oh my God, that
it's
hurt me.
crazy.
Oh, that
yeah,
hurt
there's
me.
no customers. You just get up and you put things on shelves. So, but they have like a whole system about it. It's like really fascinating. So I was starting to do that, and I was really enjoying it, actually. It was a lot of fun. And I got touching all these organizing products, and I was like, this store just sells organizing things. That's wild.
It is wild.
And then I couldn't believe it. And then finally they were like, please, we would love for you to work sales floor. We think you'd be great. Like, we're gonna, like, please. And I was like, fine. I'll do like a couple sales shifts. And I had a great time. I loved helping people solve their problems. It was like a video game to me. They came in, they're like, I have this, problem. And I'm like, oh, I know exactly what you need. And we go over and we talk about it. And then these professional organizers would come in the store. And I was like, that's a thing? You can do that?
Right.
I had no idea that was a profession. And I was like, I could do that. And so so after I think I'd been working there, maybe 5 years or so, I started my own organizing business. And then I left that to go independent. I did consult I guess I was a consultant representing them for a while, but then I just went out on my own and I needed some marketing for my business. So I made a video and the people watched it. I was very shocked. I didn't know it was going to be public. It was a video that I was like going to send to potential clients, is like, this is what I can do. Because it was mostly at the time, it just selling closets, and I didn't really, that wasn't very satisfying for me. I much prefer to do the organizing part. But people liked the video, and I was like, I guess I'll have to make another one. It wasn't even monetized. I was like, I should probably monetize this. And so I made another one and another one and another one. And that was much more of a fun creative outlet for me. And I just kept doing it. And now it's all I do aside from singing.
I love that
it just so much.
Yeah. I love that you just kind of like stumbled in on it, right? And that's kind of how all of our lives like kind of work. Like you think you have this plan, you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and then my career is gonna be like this, and my life's gonna be like this, but
it went a totally different way than I expected. Yeah.
And then you can blend all the things that you love, like, you know, and you're like, oh, I just made this video and people like it. Okay, I guess I can make more. And now that's like what you do, right? It's just,
it was
so
crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, I didn't expect for people to watch it. I really was just like, I need something to do that's creative, because at the time I was like bored. Selling closets is kind of boring. So I was like, I can, do something creative, and it turned out to be fun. Who knew you could make money? I didn't know.
And like people always, singers always diss like their muggle jobs, like, oh, I have to go work at the Container Store. I have to go, it's kind of like a faux pas sometimes in our industry. And this is a good example that, you can find ways that your muggle job can blend with your singing career or supplement, or, find something else that you really love. And it's not a terrible thing always, you know what I mean?
I mean, you got to put food on your table. And I have to say that, I haven't worked for the company in quite some time, but I have to say that the Container Store was very understanding and very, they wanted me to, do concerts and take time off for rehearsals and stuff. They're like, we know we need you to find somebody, but we really want you to go and, be your best self. And they were, they were very supportive. Much. Yeah, it was good.
I guess my next question, Ellen, I'm going to veer off base for a second, is how do you, now that you're your own business, how do you balance singing with your business?
I have I've only really gotten the hang of this over the past few years, and COVID has helped a lot with it because I had a lot of time to think and try to focus. But I have to make sure that I make singing a very real priority, as well as the other thing, because if you have your own business, if you're an entrepreneur, you can be very focused on that, and it feels like often you're on a hamster wheel, you're thinking about it all the time. You're like, have all these ideas, you want to write them down. But if I don't make singing a priority, I will not. And it's really important to me to sing like almost every day, to make sure I spend time practicing, and then I have some goals. I feel like if I don't have goals, I lose focus completely. And I feel like even over the past few years, I've become really focused on, the small victories that I can accomplish, and also I feel like if you have a really good instructor that's going to hold you accountable, I feel like that's a really big part of it.
Yeah, that's
huge
big.
part of it. Yeah,
it's huge, right? Yeah.
I need somebody who's going to kick my butt.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love the goals, the goals and small victories. I mean, if you don't have goals in anything, like you're kind of just floating around, and sometimes that's fine. Sometimes we don't have to like be going forward all the time. Sometimes chilling out is good, but even like small goals, celebrating small victories, I think that kind of gets lost when we have these huge ambitions of being an entrepreneur, being, our own business as a singer, and you really do have to celebrate those little wins, because that's how you're moving forward. That's, those are the little things that you need to recognize to stay happy, to stay going forward, wanting to keep singing or, doing your own business. So I think that's really important.
Yeah. And I think that it's important to keep the perspective that I like is that I don't need, like when you were a kid and you're thinking about singing, you're like, oh, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be at like Carnegie Hall and stuff. And I just want to, at this point as an adult, I'm happy to be working. As I go to a gig, they give me a paycheck. I did a performance. It's great. That's great for me. That's, that is the goal, is to maintain myself as a working singer. And I think that's an attainable goal for a lot of people.
Yeah. 100%. You're not always going to be a Renee Fleming or,
right.
Pavarotti. And it's just not, in any career, that's just not attainable. And so it is good to sit down and kind of just figure out, what do you want? Like, even right now, like what will make you happy? What will fill your soul? And then just try to do that. And then maybe it'll, keep stepping up, or maybe that's just it. Maybe that's just all I want to do is to, make some extra cash, or have some extra spending money, or I just want to be on a stage singing. I don't even care if I'm getting paid, whatever that goal is, just try to keep fulfilling it, and then, reassessing. So it may change, it may not, but
yeah, exactly. Stay flexible.
Yeah,
for sure.
I like that.
For
Stay
sure.
flexible. So coming back to organizing, what, in your opinion, thinking of singers and how our brains work, what would you say is the first thing that people should start to organize to make their lives a little bit easier?
Time.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah, and that's the big one, because I feel like the time spent thinking about doing something and actually doing something are very different. And I feel like the best thing I've done for my singing career is organize time. And it's not an easy thing, but I am very tech savvy, and I love to make my iPhone my personal assistant. And whenever it tells me to do something, I'm there. I'm like, okay, I got to practice in 30 minutes. Well, I got to get ready for that. And that's something that you have to make time for. Especially singing. Like, if I put it in the calendar, I'm like, well, I have to sing for like 30 minutes. And 30 minutes is better than nothing.
Yeah. So I would love to hear a little bit more about how you personally organize your time. I know that we were talking a little bit before we hit record. You're in Boston, you're doing the things. It's cold. How
very cold.
How do you like to organize your time on a weekly basis to help find yourself with the most joy possible?
The ultimate goal, and I'm still working on this, is to actually program all of the things that I want to do. And I don't hold myself to this, but I do block schedule most of my weeks. So like, at 10 to 12, I'm going to film, and like 12 to 1, I'm going to take a break. And then like 1 to 3, I'm going to edit. And then like, 5 o'clock, I'm going to sing for a half hour. I don't hold myself to those specific time brackets, because as long as you are, it's kind of just gets you going. You don't have to stick to those specific. If it takes longer, it takes longer. If I don't spend as much time, I don't spend as much time. But I think my ultimate goal also is to schedule in a stopping point for a lot of this stuff. Because sometimes if it's just me, I can work all day and then forget about, my time I have to spend with my family, or like walk the dog, or just to have some downtime where I'm not doing anything. So I try to spread it out over the week in a way that makes sense. I don't always succeed, but it works really well most of the time if you really schedule your calendar. And again, a little phone, it'll tell you, you can have your little assistant tell you to do something like about half hour before it happens. And it's very helpful. You can ignore it, or you can do the thing. It's up to you.
Time blocking is cool too. Oh, sorry, Alyssa.
You go, Ellen.
I like time blocking also because you have to think of the task before you do the task. You're like,
Mhm.
oh, I have to, I don't know, edit this video or
Mhm.
create this thing. Then you have to think about how much time you think it will take. And
Mhm.
then it helps you further down the line in the future, because you're like, okay, I have to edit this video, and you probably do it 100 times a week or whatever it is, or practice
Mhm.
or learn this piece. And then you do the thing, you're like, okay, that took only an hour and I blocked out 3, or so then you can
Mhm.
plan better in the future. Or, oh, hey, this actually took 3 hours instead of the 1 that I blocked out. So it just helps you plan better in the future. It gets you thinking about these things earlier. And for, at least for me in the long run, it saves me time because I am getting better about my time management.
Exactly. And it gives you a little dopamine after you've finished it. Because that way, and
Totally.
because
Very that.
because that
Very
way you don't
that.
feel like you need to like do all the things on the list, the little like eternal list that's in the background all the time. You're
Yep.
like all these things, and if you don't get to it, I mean that day it wasn't on the task list, so you don't have to feel guilty about like not doing everything.
Yep.
But that maybe that's just me. I don't know. I'm a little
Oh,
bit
no.
psycho like that.
Not just you. Definitely us too. I can definitely say that I feel like that all the time. So
Yeah. So
I feel
then,
really guilty.
oh,
I know. It's a
yes,
terrible
very
feeling.
guilty.
It's like
It's the worst.
your to-do
I've
list
been,
has it over, like it holds over your head all the time.
Hmm.
yeah, I've been in like a to-do list, um, not a whirlwind,
The loop, the
downward
endless loop.
spiral.
Oh, downward
I would
spiral.
call it a
Yeah.
downward spiral, personally.
It's a downward
Um,
spiral.
and sorry, my cats are talking to me still. It was his birthday last week, so
He's still celebrating.
he is still celebrating.
He's still
He
celebrating.
turned 12, but
Oh, 12.
he's so good.
Kitty.
Look at his little face.
Oh my gosh. Look at him. You're so
Porky,
cute.
do you have anything to say? No, now you don't.
Not anymore.
It's like that Bugs Bunny cartoon when they get the Michigan J Frog and then hello my baby, hello my darling, and whenever he's on like the camera, there's nothing.
Nothing to say.
Like that.
Oh my gosh, yes. But giving myself like the grace to know it's like, okay, but I still did this, that, and the other, because like I do time blocking. It's weird because I also have like a full-time job right now, and I just finished a production and I'm rehearsing for another one. So it's like finding the time has been weird,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
making the time is also difficult. So holding
Mhm.
myself to that has been interesting. So how do you, when you're in a downward spiral, or a downward dog, who's to say, but what is something that helps you stay with your organization tactics that you've built for yourself over the years to help yourself come back and find your path again?
I mean, again, I got to block out time for recreation. Because that, I mean, you can't, recharging my batteries has become increasingly more important as I've gotten older. I realize if I just keep going, and I'm like, I have all these things happening and I don't schedule time to sort of like turn everything off, I am not functional. Like for example, I have been really busy lately, and at rehearsal on Wednesday, I was like not prepared, and I had like a weird fight or flight response when I was supposed to be singing, and nothing came out, and I was like, and I think I just needed a couple days to just chill out a little bit, recharge my batteries. I would have been much more alert at rehearsal if I wasn't so tired or occupied personally. So I think that is increasingly important because we're also overstimulated, I think, a lot.
Yeah.
And it just I feel like that was a consequence of all of that overstimulation over the past few days, and slowing down is just as important as making time for the things that are work and meetings and practicing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love
It's
that.
crazy. People think that like the grind is it, right? It's like keep
Mhm.
going, keep pushing, keep doing, and
The
because you're
hustle
doing so
culture.
much, yeah, like
Yeah.
you'll succeed. But really, and what I've learned over the years also as I get older is that I I can't do, I mean, I just don't have the energy to do that anymore. So you have to kind of protect your time, like you said, the
Mhm.
most important thing to organize. And the more I can recharge, the more present I am, the better I am at
Mhm.
my job, coming up with ideas, like being creative. When I sing, my voice is less, like I'm less stressed, so my voice is freer and feels
Mhm.
good. And then you're also just enjoying what you're doing. So taking
Absolutely.
that time blocking that time for family and walking
Mhm.
the dog or
Mhm.
recharging is just as important as any of the work that you're doing. So
Absolutely. And I mean, we have been in this sort of celebration of being busy over the last, what, like 10 years.
If not
And
more.
it's, yeah, if not more than that. And it's wearing on a lot of us. And a little slowdown is probably going to be the best medicine for a lot of us.
I love that. Okay, so wrapping up really fast, if you could talk to your undergraduate and your graduate self, what
Mm.
are 3 pieces of advice that you would give them to get to where you are today in a happier way?
Do not compare your path to any other singer that you know. Their path is completely different from you. You are a separate person, and it may not look like their path. So just do your own thing. Also, make sure that you get your technique in order as quickly as possible. So
Very
to
good.
as
Oh,
to
that
not
would hit me. That would hit
un,
me.
it is much more difficult to unlearn bad habits than it is to get them under control initially. So I feel like, and also be
100%.
your best advocate for yourself. If you feel like your teacher or what you're learning is not helping you or not serving you, you have the right to go to someone who you feel like will better be able to deal with you. And it's nothing personal, you know? Like I had a voice teacher that was like, good every time I sang something, and I was like, it can't be that good because
Right.
like I would be out there working. I mean, it cannot be that good. So I was like, I need somebody who's going to challenge, what they're hearing because it can't be that good.
Someone to kick your butt every now and again.
Yeah, someone to kick my butt in like the nicest possible way.
Right.
Like out of love.
A compliment
Yeah,
sandwich,
like
please. But
yeah, a compliment sandwich. Or who's not gonna, I really the power of someone who's not gonna BS you is I think is like really underrated. Because I just don't want to be BS'd. And to not let imposter syndrome get the best of you. Um, because the why would they pick me is, or like why would I win that audition is to be challenged by why not.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I love that.
and you're just a regular person just like everyone else. So
So true.
why not, so it's just, yeah, things I'm learning. I feel like a little later than I should have learned, but if I could talk to like little 18-year-old Kay, I would tell her all these things.
Oh,
Poor girl.
Retrospectively, it's a lot easier to think of things after years
Absolutely.
later. I
Yeah.
think we all have that. We're like, oh crap, that would have been so much easier if I had
Yeah.
just not,
if I learned
made
how to
myself feel like crap.
breathe.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
Kay,
thank you so much for
so
talking.
much.
Yeah,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
This was so much fun.
Oh,
I'm
so great
so
chatting with
glad.
you.
I know that I lived in Boston while you were also in Boston, and I'm bummed that we never got to like actually hang out in person.
I know
But
that's sad, but
yeah,
New York's not far. We
exactly.
can
So
still
next
hang
time you're
out.
here, let me know.
I
Yeah,
will.
let me know. I'll travel. 5 hours is not bad. I'm on there. I'm on the plane.
Oh my
There you
gosh.
go. All you gotta do is buy a plane ticket, get on the plane, the whole
You can crash at
thing.
my place.
Yeah, there
I'll
you
just
go.
throw some random clothes in a suitcase and go,
Or you can
The
drive.
same
It's not that
size.
long, right?
Fine.
Oh Lord, no.
From
Oh,
Arizona.
no. I hate the car. I have some friends
Same.
that are making fun of me because I won't drive like 45 minutes. We have
Phoenix is very spread out, and we have some friends that live on the other side, and I'm just like, I don't want to be in the car for 45 minutes.
I mean, I get
It
that.
takes me an hour on the train to get anywhere.
I get it. But I mean, I get it. I don't drive to DC in like one trip anymore. I'm like, you know what? We're stopping in New York and it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Because the car is horrible.
It's horrible. It's a horrible place.
It's
Yep.
It's a
horrible.
horrible place. Oh no.
I'm right there with you. Oh my God.
I don't drive. I don't know.
Well, that's probably for the best because it
Right?
sucks.
It
Yeah.
does suck.
It
Oh my
sucks.
My car, don't want to be in the car all day. Like,
My car got attacked by rats. The rats like ate the inside of my air filter.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
what?
You didn't get attacked by turkeys. Then you have a lot of
Not
turkeys.
turkeys. Not
Oh my
turkeys,
God.
but like rats. And I was
turkeys.
like,
Oh God.
it was like $600 to fix it. I was like, great. I
What?
hope that doesn't happen again. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I've never
I think it's a
I've
thing
never
now.
heard of that outside
I
of
think it is a thing 'cause
camp.
they've been nonsensical aggressive.
It's COVID. It's COVID.
Yeah.
I think that the numbers increased when like the restaurants closed and they're like looking for food in other places. I don't know. I heard they like spread out. So
They
like
spread
we
out
don't normally
because of,
have
like all the restaurants outside too. That's how it's going in New
Yeah.
York.
Yeah, it's bad times. So
Oh my gosh, you guys.
yeah, it's good. It's
Got the
bad.
turkeys and the rats now.
Yeah.
Turkeys
Like-
can all go die. Thank you.
I hate turkeys too. They're annoying.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we did this and
We did
the
it.
time. Look at
I'm
us.
really proud of
impressed.
us.
Before it kicks it off, I do want to just say, just thank you. This is so much fun.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. It was so fun.
I don't want it to kick us off before we say thanks.
All right.
Bye, Kate. Thank you.
Bye, friends.
Bye, Kay.